president of Teamsters Local 25. I want to welcome our regular file speakers and welcome home Sister Sara Nelson and our brother from Local 25, General President Sean O'Brien. Let's hear it. Also, the man that's been fighting for working people for decades, Senator Bernie Sanders. Senator Bernie! Brothers and sisters, this rally is about fighting corporate greed. And if you know at Local 25, we fight like hell. We're the best at it. We take pride in being the most militant local in this country. The Teamsters are lucky to have a leader like Sean O'Brien, who has taken Local 25 spirit and given it to the entire Teamsters Union. I think people forget that it's Teamsters, union workers like Sara's AFA members that keep this country moving. We have a heartbeat that keeps this country, the pulse going every single day, brothers and sisters. We deserve respect, and we deserve to get compensated for the role we play. If we're going to get workers, if this year, we're going to need fighters like Sara Nelson and Sean O'Brien. And if we're going to knock some of these corporate bigwigs on their asses, we're going to need all of you to get to the fight, brothers and sisters. Thank you very much. Together we win, divided we beg. Thank you. Hello. Tyler here is a barista and organizer at 1304 Commonwealth Avenue, Starbucks. She's been at the forefront of the Starbucks organizing effort in Massachusetts since its inception, helping to unionize stores all throughout New England.
And my friend Spencer over here is a shift manager and organizer at 874 Commonwealth Avenue. They led their store through the unionization process and are leading their store through the longest strike in Starbucks history, 36 days. Since partners in Buffalo, New York began the process to unionize in August last year, over 200 Starbucks locations across the country have voted to unionize. But rather than respecting the rights of their own workers, whose labor creates their profit, Starbucks has retaliated against thousands of workers, fired over 80 organizing partners and counting, and closed over 16 stores.
In response, we have filed over 300 unfair labor practice claims with the NLRB. But fought for the reinstatement of our fellow partners and took collective action as workers throughout the country.
And all of our victories, milestones, and strides would not be possible without the constant support of our coworkers, friends, union siblings, and community members like you all.
Yeah, give yourselves a hand. When Starbucks forced partners throughout the nation to sit through mandatory meetings, told us to fear the union, and deceived us about our rights, it was the support of our coworkers and union siblings that helped us break down their lies and push forward in our fight.
And when Starbucks illegally fired 7 partners forming a union in Memphis, Tennessee, it was our union who fought for and won their reinstatement, while baristas rallied in solidarity throughout the nation. And community members provided mutual aid to sustain them.
When Starbucks brought in a bigoted union-busting manager to punish us for organizing, it was our coworkers who declared a strike, our community supporters that continue to show up on our picket, keeping it alive 24 hours a day, 36 days strong, and our delivery drivers, proud Teamsters, who promise not to cross our picket line.
Solidarity is what will win this fight against corporate greed, fear-mongering, and the division of the working class. And we are, once again, asking for your solidarity.
We need community supporters to sign our no contract, no coffee pledge.
We need our fellow union siblings to join our Adopt a Store program to help uplift and mentor the barista organizers throughout Massachusetts and to be there for baristas during these brutal union busting tactics.
And importantly, we need our elected officials. We need you, Senator Sanders, to get Howard Schultz into a congressional hearing, to require that he attest to his involvement in this unprecedented and illegal union busting campaign under oath, to hold him responsible for the crimes that he's committed against his own employees and the working class as a whole.
We need all of you to stand, fight, and win together. What's good, Cambridge? I said, what's good, Cambridge? My name is Phaedrus, and I'm a graduate researcher at MIT. MIT is a $27 billion institution. It is the largest landowner in Cambridge, and it doesn't have to pay any taxes. And you know where it derives its wealth and resources from? It's from the 5,000 graduate researchers and teachers whose work forms the core of MIT's mission. And yet, we don't get dental insurance. MIT budgets for us to pay 55% of our income in rent. Some of us who live in MIT-owned buildings even pay over 70% of our incomes back to MIT as our landlords. Rationing meals just to make ends meet. Over 40% of our workforce are immigrants. During the pandemic, when MIT told us to work from home, we went and worked from home. And for our immigrants, what did MIT do? They said, while travel was still unsafe and unpredictable, they gave them an ultimatum. They told them, come back to Cambridge in 1 month or you're out of a job. And in the summer of 2020, after the murder of George Floyd, many of us were on the streets among the many millions of people rising up against the racist police brutality in this country. And we wanted to take that fight against systemic racism back to our workplace and demanded fair hiring practices and equitable resources for all of our workers, things that our Black graduate workers have been demanding for over a decade, and MIT has not budged on it. You know, sometimes before a union is formed, we're not sure it's going to happen. We are scared, feel hopeless, resigned that things are always going to be this way. That's exactly how the bosses intend to make us feel. That's exactly how the owners who don't do anything intend to make us feel. And MIT is no exception. MIT has told us repeatedly, don't bother unionizing. We're not going to negotiate with you on the cost of housing. Well, we organized a committee, talked to thousands of our coworkers, and won our union election this April by tuning in. The most important lesson of our victory is that it has transformed our conception of who we are and what we can do. And it has inspired graduate workers across the country that they can do it too. We can have better lives. We can make positive changes. And we can win too if we organize and we fight. And so it is with every victory of our class. They expand and inspire our conception of what is possible. That which seemed impossible not long ago is suddenly on the table. Say it with me, Cambridge. When we fight. When we fight. When we fight. When we fight. Thank you. What's going on, Cambridge? So my name is Dominic Consiglio. I'm also the president for the airlines. Beautiful. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. A little bit about me. Predominantly with children with autism. Found myself. I come from a middle class, lower middle class family. It was a single mom every day, make check. Continuing to live in life. And said I'm honored to be here with so many great leaders.
who, while we were on strike, organized, then unionized, and went on strike themselves. We signed our tentative agreement in IBEW Local 103, mediated by Marty Walsh. These people really don't know the power and the connections that we have. So when Amazon wants to put their money into the safety of a rocket to send Bezos into space, they have the money to recognize ALU and provide a safe workplace. When UPS CEO sits in his air-conditioned office counting billion-dollar profits, he can provide air conditioning and staffing to the Teamsters.
Yeah.
When Delta CEO thinks that his flight attendants need to play video games while counting his profits, he can stop playing union busting games and let his flight attendants unionize. When I can pay my student loans for 20 plus years, the graduate union can get paid over the summer. When Starbucks charges more for a venti cappuccino than they pay in hourly wages, and we're going to shut down stores to then negotiate, they can pay a living wage. And when for-profit healthcare CEOs can pay $100 million for a strike, they can provide safer care for patients and staff. When 700 nurses, hundreds of baristas, 100,000 UPS drivers, 20,000 Delta flight attendants fight back, the world is inspired, and we will stand with them and any worker who seeks a protected voice for themselves, their families, their communities. We will not stop the fight as long as it takes. And as the saying goes, one day longer, one day stronger. And shout out to Minnesota Nurses Association and the 15,000 nurses who authorized the strike this week. Solidarity. pull themselves up by their bootstraps to start this new airline until the workers started to organize. And then they hired one of the most expensive union busting firms in the country to spend $3,500 a day on union lawyers to fight their own family members. Dominic has rallied his flying partners, and let me tell you something. When they had their election, there were so few flight attendants left because it's such a bad place to work that the company is arguing that they shouldn't recognize the union. Just like Amazon, just like Starbucks, just like everywhere else in this country, it is the same fight everywhere. And all of us are taking on the few of them. And when we understand that, when we take that into our hearts, that they have money, and right now they have control, but we have the power. This stuff is gonna change like that. The great labor, Mother Jones, there is no need. They themselves are continually organizing the cabinet of labor for the least amount. Labor wants the least amount. Labor bill in this world that spends that if you your hands. follow the law and respect the rights of their employees to join the union and not spend $1 federal on union busting. That's what they spent their time